Battle through the heavens. Over a dozen moonlight stones were inserted into the surrounding tree trunks of an empty area within the forest. The light that they emitted caused this area to appear quite bright. The dense fog had also been scattered by the big battle that had occurred earlier. Hence, it had resulted in this place becoming much more visible. One of the 4 men was wearing deep yellow clothing. Additionally, there was a knife scar on his face. He was currently sitting on a tree branch, leaning against the tree trunk. His gaze lazily swept over the place below as he faintly said, "Hurry up. Hand over the psychic white fox. It is not as though we have not done something like killing a woman." A couple of years had passed. The current Nalan Yanran no longer had the tenderness that she had back then. When she moved, she would emit an alluring mature attraction. The pampered young lady back then had truly become a great beauty that could bring destruction to cities and empires. Extreme beauty is said to be able to cause destruction of empires because they tend to be able to distract the ruler from doing the right things or from working. There was a lovely little white-colored fox on Nalan Yanran's shoulders. This white fox had snow-white fur which was extremely smooth. At a glance, one would have the feeling of liking it too much to put it down. It possessed lethal impact on women. Nalan Yanran seemed to have sensed the fear of the little, white fox. She gently rubbed its head before slowly raising her head. Those pretty eyes of hers were icily staring at the 3 people opposite her. She tightened her grip on the longsword as a sharp sword aura slowly surged out. 2 ice-cold words were also softly emitted from her mouth. "Dream on. He, what a stubborn beauty. However, you are a little too stubborn. With your 5-star Dou Huang strength, you can forget about escaping from the hands of the 3 of us. Obediently hand over the white fox. Otherwise, I would not mind enjoying just how much ecstasy such a beauty would give." A yellow-clothed man stared at Nalan Yanran with a searing gaze. He involuntarily licked his lips, and his eyes contained a lewd look. The ground spirit gate is indeed a place where garbage is produced. The 3 of them exchanged glances. Immediately, they nodded slightly and decided not to continue getting entangled in this matter. Their bodies moved and formed a triangular shape, surrounding Nalan Yanran. Powerful deep yellow Dou Qi surged out of their bodies. Ground drawing prison. The hands of the 3 of them violently landed on the ground. The land shook and the soil rapidly churned. Rock fragments shot out. In the blink of an eye, a cage that was formed from the soil broke out of the ground and trapped Nalan Yanran within. Nalan Yanran knit her brows upon seeing this. Her feet pressed on the ground and her lovely body was like a spinning top that swiftly rotated. Sharp sword aura shot in all directions and viciously cut at the cage, causing many cut lines to quickly appear. Nalan Yanran did not dare to slight the combined attack of 3 4-star Dou Huangs. The long sword in her hand was wrapped by powerful sword aura as it trickily and viciously pierced out in a lightning-like manner. Qi! Qi! 4 figures exchanged blows within the cage in a lightning-like manner. Sword aura spread everywhere, forming numerous deep gullies in the ground. The 3 yellow-clothed men seemed to be aware of the sharpness of Nalan Yanran's sword aura. Therefore, they did not forcefully attack. Instead, they relied on their long-lasting ground affinity Dou Qi to slowly exhaust her Dou Qi. Clang! 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 The long sword pierced into the 3 spear tips in a lightning-like manner. Nalan Yanran's pretty face turned cold as sharp sword auras suddenly shot out. Bang! 3 mud spears were blown apart when they were struck by the sword aura. However, before Nalan Yanran could continue pressing her attack, the ground shook and an enormous sharp mud pillar shot out, causing her to hurriedly withdraw. When Nalan Yanran's body landed, the 3 people on across from her formed more long spears. A deep yellow armor had also appeared on their bodies at this moment, covering them with firm protection. Ground affinity Qi methods usually specialized in being long-lasting defenses. You are worthy of being a 5-star Dou Huang by being so troublesome to deal with. However, it will end here. With the Dou Qi in your body, it is likely that you will not be able to endure for long. Hand the psychic white fox over to us and we will let you off. A low, deep sound was emitted from the deep yellow armor. You can use these words to trick a 3-year-old child. Nalan Yanran coldly laughed when she heard this. She was no longer that young lady from back then. Her experience in the Central Plains during these years had also allowed her to understand quite a lot of principles. Stubborn fool. You're seeking death. The spirit of land, earth melting skill. The 3 people cried out sharply. Deep yellow Dou Qi swiftly agglomerated in front of one of them. That powerful Dou Qi, that had gathered the strength of the 3 of them, caused even Nalan Yanran to change her expression. This earth-melting skill of the ground spirit gate does possess some uniqueness. The man on the tree branch glanced at the earth dragon in front of him and softly said. Nalan Yanran clenched her silver teeth as she looked at the earth dragon ferociously shooting over. Her hand tossed the little white fox on her shoulders aside, and a deep green-colored Dou Qi swiftly formed a wind wall in front of her. Bang! Nalan Yanran was revealed to the earth dragon when the wind wall burst apart. It immediately roared at the former as its ferocious mouth bit down at Nalan Yanran's head. Nalan Yanran's pretty face became slightly pale when she saw the earth dragon in close proximity. She was just about to use her Dou Qi when she was shocked to realize that her body had been entwined by an unusual black-colored energy. Bang! The sudden unexpected change surprised everyone. This included the man in the tree branch. He threw his somewhat shocked eyes toward the spot where the fist wind had been emitted. Who is it? I am Huang Tian from the ground spirit gate. Friend, please do not meddle in other people's business. The yellow-clothed man swept his gaze cautiously around him as he spoke with a deep voice. Aren't you afraid of throwing away the face of the ground spirit gate by having so many men bully a girl? A mocking laugh was emitted from the dense fog. Immediately, soft footsteps sounded. A moment later, a skinny figure appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan smiled slightly as he looked at the pretty face, filled with disbelief. His voice had become much gentler as he softly asked, "Are you all right?" Nalan Yanran was also a little startled at the gentle manner in which Xiao Yan spoke. She had seldom seen Xiao Yan speak to her in such a calm manner. After all, she was aware of just what kind of trouble and harm that the events back then had brought to this prideful man. I'm fine, thank you. Nalan Yanran's pretty eyes flickered slightly while she shook her head and softly replied. It seems that this friend really want to act like a hero rescuing a beauty. The expressions of the 3 yellow-clothed men sank when they saw Xiao Yan ignore them right from the beginning. The one who called himself Huang Tian earlier confronted him with a gloomy voice. Get lost. Xiao Yan grabbed Nalan Yanran's snow-white wrist after saying those words. A wisp of jade-green flame surfaced on the tip of his finger before it shot out in a lightning-like manner. In the face of Xiao Yan's swiftly flicked finger, the black-colored energy which entwined around Nalan Yanran's body appeared like snow that had met fire as it swiftly melted. The man in deep yellow clothes on the tree branch narrowed his eyes as he looked at Xiao Yan below. This was especially the case when he saw him easily expel the black-colored energy on Nalan Yanran's body, causing his eyes to involuntarily shrink a little more. Xiao Yan, who was facing Nalan Yanran, smiled. He immediately turned his body around and his heavy ruler appeared in his hand. The heavy ruler contained a powerful wind as it was violently swung. Crack! Xiao Yan's eyes indifferently swept over the three of them. The heavy ruler in his hand was inserted into the ground. His feet stomped on the ground and a wind lightning sound appeared. His body also strangely disappeared. Bang! The fists landed heavily on the three of them. At the same time, a terrifying force came pouring out. Those three were just like kites whose strings had broken. They flew backwards before colliding into a couple of large trees. A mouthful of fresh blood was spat out of each of their mouths. Huang Tian and the other two curled together on the ground like prawns, moaning. The armor on their bodies had been shattered by one punch from Xiao Yan. They could not understand just why they were unable to even withstand a blow from this brat with their strength. It was likely that one could hardly find any people even in the entire northern regions of the Central Plains who could do this. The fellow in front of them, just where did he come from? Clap clap. Xiao Yan glanced at the scarred man before narrowing his eyes. This person was extremely strong. There was a vast difference in strength between him and those three earlier. Xiao Yan, be careful. He is very strong. Nalan Yanran's hand gently beckoned to the dense fog, and a white figure flashed and appeared. After which, it pounced into her embrace, transforming into a cute white fox. She spoke in a worried voice while hugging this white fox. Why are they attacking you? Xiao Yan nodded and asked. There is a natural maze outside of the Heaven Eye Mountain. If a person who isn't aware of it walks in, it is likely that he will be trapped within it until the energy tide is over. This psychic white fox of mine is immune to the maze. One will be able to successfully walk out of the maze if one follows it. They are attacking me because they wish to snatch the white fox away. Nalan Yanran's hand gently rubbed the soft fur of the white fox as she softly explained. I am not interested in your white fox. I don't need such a thing. However, these three fellows need it. The man with a knife scar spoke indifferently. I have some old friendship with a person from the ground spirit gate. He had instructed me to bring these people to the front of the maze before we left. My method is a secret of the faction and cannot be shared with others. Therefore, I can only find a psychic white fox to lead them. We will not hand the white fox to you. Please leave. Xiao Yan smiled slightly to the scarred man as he spoke. Wang Chen, is not someone who can be so easily dispatched. The scarred man parted his mouth and grinned. There was a faint dense feeling within it. Wang Chen. The Yellow Spring Pavilion's Wang Chen. Nalan Yanran involuntarily exclaimed when those words sounded. Her pretty face also changed a little. Xiao Yan, why don't we hand the white fox to them? This Wang Chen is extremely bloodthirsty. Moreover, he is very strong. It is likely that he is already the peak of the Dou Huang class. According to rumors, he had once fought with some Dou Zone class old demon and did not die. Nalan Yanran bit her lower red lip with the back of her teeth. She struggled for a moment before finally spoke hesitantly. She did not wish to drag Xiao Yan into this mess. How will we pass through the maze without the white fox? Xiao Yan turned his head and glanced at Nalan Yanran. He seemed to be aware of her concern as he grinned and said, Relax, leave him to me. The smile on Wang Chen's face involuntarily became denser upon hearing Xiao Yan's words. Anyone familiar with him knew that each time he happily smiled, was the time when the killing intent within his heart had become extremely dense. I have met with Tang Ying from the 10,000 Sword Pavilion not long ago and exchanged blows with him. He said there would be a person even more fun to play with behind. I think that he was talking about you. Wang Chen slowly lowered his hand. A dense, black-colored energy swiftly lingered over it. He looked at Xiao Yan as his bright red tongue licked his lips. An instant later, his eyes suddenly turned dark. In that case, allow me to see if you are as fun to play with as he described. Be careful. Nalan Yanran hurriedly reminded when she saw Wang Chen suddenly attack. Bang! Corpse-eroding hand. His fist swiftly spread and transformed into a kind of permeating dark black color. It strangely bypassed the enormous ruler and headed for Xiao Yan's throat. Xiao Yan's gaze was intently watching the dark black hand, which was quickly being magnified in his eyes. An instant later, his eyes coagulated. A jade-green flame surged onto his fist without hesitation before he threw a punch out. Boom! The powerful collision brought about a strong air wave that spread apart with a bang. It struck the enormous trees nearby until their trunks were snapped apart. The ground had thus become a complete mess. Heavenly flame. Wang Chen smiled in a dark, cold manner. He did not even look at Huang Tian and the two others as his body withdrew and entered the dense fog. A voice was slowly emitted as he did so. No wonder Tang Ying thinks so highly of you. You do possess some ability. Today's matter will end here. I will wait for you on the Heaven Mountain stage and see if you have the ability to arrive there. Xiao Yan involuntarily laughed as he stared at the spot where Wang Chen had disappeared. He was indeed worthy of being a person from the four pavilions. It was unexpected that his vicious words were so similar to the others. Regardless of whether it was real, the strength of this Wang Chen was something that there was no need to doubt. However, Nalan Yanran did not expect that after only a single brief exchange, this bloodthirsty abnormal fellow would be scared away by Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan was unaware of the shock within Nalan Yanran's heart at this moment. His gaze turned to Huang Tian and the two others a short distance away as he indifferently demanded, "Why are you still here?" Nalan Yanran naturally did not say anything in the face of this quiet atmosphere. Her hand gently rubbed the smooth fur of the white fox while her eyes were lowered. You, are you also planning to head to the Heaven Mountain Blood Pool? The silence continued for a moment before Xiao Yan finally coughed and took the initiative to speak, breaking the silence as he did so. Yes. Although I know that it is extremely difficult for me to obtain one of the 10 spots with my strength, this trip here could be considered training. Nalan Yanran nodded slightly and softly answered. Xiao Yan rubbed his hand and suddenly felt a little constrained. He hesitated for a moment before asking, why are you here alone? Have the both of you been alright during these years? Xiao Yan's gaze was drifting as he inquired. Nalan Yanran smiled when she saw this. She softly asked, "You want to ask about teacher, right?" Xiao Yan's body unnoticeably stiffened. He gently exhaled and asked, "Is she well?" Nalan Yanran's eyes dimmed when she heard this. She nodded and replied, "Teacher is very well." Xiao Yan's heart felt an unknown pain the moment he thought about her. Yun was not wrong from the beginning. The thing that was wrong was both parties' position. Right from the start, she was the one who had been hurt the most. Moreover, she had been roaming other lands during these years. Although she was quite strong, it was likely that she, as a lady, must have suffered quite a lot. Xiao Yan was stunned when he heard this. He immediately let out a bitter laugh. This woman. Won't I be a burden to you? Nalan Yanran's eyes brightened before she asked with some concern. I am completely unfamiliar with this Heaven Eye mountain range. At the very least, you do know something about it. I will be able to worry less if you are around. Xiao Yan spread his hands as he replied. Okay. Nalan Yanran's hand gently rubbed the white fox. She hesitated for a moment before gently nodding. This place is already close to the Heaven Eye Mountain. It is likely that we will be able to reach the foot of the Heaven Eye Mountain after a short while. There is a natural maze there. However, We possess the psychic white fox and need not be too worried about it. Two figures were swiftly traveling through a forest covered by dense fog when a clear woman's voice was softly emitted. Xiao Yan nodded. It was indeed more convenient with someone leading the way. Magical beast tribe? What is their strength like? Xiao Yan was startled and he immediately frowned. This magical beast tribe is called the gold-swallowing mouse tribe. Although most of them are ordinary rank 2 to 3 magical beasts, their numbers are so great that it is quite frightening. Of course, the true core of the gold-swallowing mouse tribe are still those members who can transform into human form. They are the true controllers of the Heaven Eye Mountain. It is rumored that the tribe leader of this tribe has also reached rank 7. His strength is comparable to an elite 6-star Dou Zong, Nalan Yanran whispered. With such a magical beast tribe occupying the Heaven Eye Mountain, how can people enjoy this Heaven Mountain blood pool? It is likely that such a unique thing also possesses a great attraction to magical beast, no? Xiao Yan doubtfully inquired. 8. Xiao Yan immediately knit his brows when he heard this. It was unexpected that the situation was even grimmer than he had expected. It was already not easy to be one of the 10. Now, 2 of them were already occupied. The difficulty of the competition was soaring. There is no choice. The gold-swallowing mouse tribe has the geographical advantage. Actually, they were quite displeased in their hearts. In the past, they were able to occupy all 10 spots. Now, it has shrunk by 5 times, Nalan Yanran laughed. According to the agreement, the gold-swallowing mouse tribe can place a checkpoint at the Heaven Eye mountain range and block those who wish to ascend to the top. They can do as they please as long as they do not threaten the lives of those people. Nevertheless, they must gather 8 human experts. Hence, it is best not to offend a member of the gold-swallowing mouse tribe once we enter the Heaven Eye mountain. This is because they are able to decide the requirements of allowing people to ascend to the top. Nalan Yanran's pretty face became quite solemn near end of her explanation. In front of this row of trees were over 10 human figures. Clearly, they were all people who had thoughts about the Heaven Mountain blood pool. Psychic White Fox. Nalan Yanran's pretty face changed a little upon being stared at by so many heated gazes. She hugged the white fox and gently took a step back. Follow me. There is no need to be afraid. Xiao Yan faintly reassured her. Immediately, Dou Qi surged out of his body. The strength of a 9-star Dou Huang surged out of his body without any restraint. The powerful aura immediately suppressed those people who were about to make trouble. The strength of these people were mostly around that of a 5-star Dou Hong or below. There was too much of a gap when compared with a 9-star Dou Huang. Anyone who enters a 10-meter radius of us will be killed. Xiao Yan's eyes coldly and slowly swept around him. A voice that contained killing intent was gently emitted, causing everyone's faces to change. Their eyes began to struggle. Xiao Yan's feet slowly walked on this ground that was filled with weathered yellow leaves. The soft sha-sha sound had become the only noise in this region. The surrounding atmosphere became more tense as Xiao Yan and Nalan Yanran approached the trees. The slight sound of footsteps appeared to have stepped on everyone's hearts, causing them to feel their breathing stagnate. Xiao Yan's footsteps gently landed. He looked at the trees, which were less than 10 meters from him, and was just about to sigh in relief when his eyes slowly narrowed into a dangerous arc. At the same time, a savage, cold cry suddenly sounded. Everyone, let's attack together. Once we snatch that white fox over, we will be able to have a share of the Heaven Mountain blood pool.